If you're sick and tired of miss-hitting your drives, miss-hitting your irons and not getting your scores down, then today we are talking about a certain move in your golf swing that has created those shots on screen. Guys, welcome back to Get Good at Golf, and if you want to do just that, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. But today we are talking, first of all, with an iron, of how you need to stop taking that club inside because it's causing those shots you've just seen on screen. So when we're out here and I've got a relatively easy shot into the green, so I've hit a good tee shot in here. For once, I'm in the middle of the fairway like we all want to be. I've got 140 yards into this green and I have got my pitching wedge. But how many times we miss the green from here is quite surprising, or maybe not surprising because you've done it for that long. But percentages wise from tour, we shouldn't really be hitting it too close, but hopefully by hitting one more green around, we can get your scores on average down by one shot per round. But the killer move is this move right here. So how many times I see people from here bring that club a long way inside on the way back. And from here, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So we either keep going around and we never get a full backswing, we only get halfway back, we've got a closed club face, and we'll start to see those shots that quickly go left into the rough, not much power, very shallow, and sometimes you might even catch those thin. And this is where your strike pattern goes. That can be with your driver, that could be with your irons. But on the tee, we're more than likely going to see those top shots. Because we're working so far inside, we might be hitting up on that golf ball, catching it on the bottom, or hitting that quick left that nobody wants to see. What else do we see from there? Well, what we start to see is that when the club works in, you might be in this position again, and automatically our reflexes will get you going, okay, well, I need to get this club up now. And we'll start to stand up and lose our angles. So you see at the top of my backswing, we're very much stood upright. And how many times do you see a PGA Tour player do this? How many times do you see a good player at your golf club in this position at the top of their backswing? Not very often. And from there, we've got to then find our angles again, and we'll start to see that one where we've done a lot of up and down. I know you might have been told that, oh, well, McIlroy squats in his backswing. That's right there is not what we call a squat, and it's not what Rory McIlroy does. So we need to be able to get that club working a little bit more out in front of us, and to you it might even feel like it's working out on the way back. So how do we do that, and how do I get into a nice consistent position there? Well, one way to do this is to get into your golf posture and then tuck your left arm underneath your right arm. So we've got some connection here. I'm keeping that arm in front of my body, and all I'm going to do is on the driving range make a few motions. So you see straight away there, if I keep this nice and tight to my arm, that club has worked back neutrally. It's out in front of me, so the club head is outside of the hands, and then from there, if I was to hinge, I can get into a position here. And how many times have you seen this kind of position on television when they've slowed swings down, or even on a driving range from a good golfer? Because from this position now, we can work up to the top of that backswing, and you see I've still got my angles, that club's now on plane, and we can bring that back down into that position here, and then down into that golf ball. And we're going to have pressure on that golf ball. And that's the key thing there, because how many times we see people from here get that elbow working this way. So we often see that the elbow drags back, and from there that is inside and that is closed. And this is where this arm right here, your right arm, is incredibly important to building a good backswing. And this is where getting some drills, maybe getting some training aids of different ways that you can get that right arm working better is going to help you get good at golf. So if you've done that a few times and you've done that on the driving range and you feel like you're getting that into a better position and up to the top and then through, and we start to get that strike, we start to get some compression, and what you'll more than likely see is not only will the ball dispersion come in, but you'll also start to get more distance because we're going to be able to compress that golf ball a little bit better. We're going to get that ball launching a little bit lower, and we're going to start to hit a few more greens. But when we're on the golf course, I know what you're screaming to me, well, I can't do that on the golf course. I can't stand on the first tee and start to do that move, and I can't do it while I'm over the golf ball. It's not going to feel comfortable. All we can do nicely is, if you're wearing a t-shirt, wearing a jumper, even a coat, we can tuck a little bit of your sleeve and we can start to get that connected to our chest. So that's nice and tight to my chest now. So my bicep is pushing towards my chest and I've got to keep that tension. So I've got to keep that in and take that club away. And straight away there, by doing that, it's forced the club to stay out in front of my hands even, and I can start to build that backswing. And you see my arms nice and tucked in there, and from here we can work that down again and I can start to rotate through that golf ball. So 2 quick drills, 2 quick moves you can do there, but let's put that into practice there. So tuck this. Again, if we start to work in, I'm going to lose that connection, so connect that sleeve there over the ball and then come in and hit that shot. And you see, nice and compact, straight towards my target, and that has gone to around about 15 feet. A nice interaction with the ground, but more importantly, a good distance, a good launch. We're on the green, we've got a chance at a birdie on this hole, and it was just from trying to get this right arm connected and stop that club working inside. Let's talk about the driver. Now on the tee box, we'll say that yes, you want to hit the ball from the inside, but you don't want to take the club away on the inside. So that's the big difference we need to discuss, because a lot of people go, well, I've seen videos, you've seen them on Get Good at Golf, you've seen them over on other channels where I've got to hit from the inside to hit my longest drives. And yes, that is correct. So when I work down, I want the club to be working from the inside here. I can get it nice and shallow, I can hit up on that golf ball, and I can launch the ball with not much spin. I can get it carrying further, running further, and past your playing partner. So we're ticking all the boxes we want. What we don't want to see, obviously, into impact is the dreaded coming over the top. So we don't want the club to be there, because then we have to do a lot of maneuvers to try and rescue it. So yes, we want to hit from the inside, but we don't want to take the club away from the inside. So the same thing I want you to do here. I want you to get that right arm tucked in there, and we're going to be able to then just think, right, what's going to take the club away? The chest takes the club away, the club stays outside of my hands, and I can build a nice strong backswing where I can start to push off and I can start to get that ball going a long way. So let's put that into play here on this tough par 4. You can see a nice towering launch, drawing back into the middle of that fairway, and we are in position A. So you can see there, guys, I've done the same as I have with an iron, but we have to remember, we don't want to take the club away on the inside, but we do want to be slightly approaching from the inside with the driver, and even with your irons, that's going to help you hit the ball straighter, hit the ball further, and get good at golf.